Frosthaven was a small, snow-blanketed town that seemed pulled straight from the pages of a Christmas storybook. For as long as anyone could remember, it was known for its festive cheer, twinkling lights, and the grand Christmas market that brought warmth to even the coldest winters. The centerpiece of this Yuletide celebration was Santa's Grotto, where children lined up eagerly to share their wishes with a jovial, red-suited Santa Claus. The tradition had started decades ago with Mr. Crenshaw, a kind and gentle old man who became a living embodiment of Santa Claus. His laughter could light up a room, and his presence made Frosthaven's Christmas magical. But things took a turn for the worse when Mr. Crenshaw passed away suddenly one November. The town mourned his loss, but the festivities had to continue. A replacement was found quickly, a man who called himself Nick. No one in Frosthaven knew much about him, and when he arrived, there was a collective unease. He was tall and broad, with sharp, icy blue eyes that seemed to pierce through people. His laugh didn't carry the warmth of Mr. Crenshaw's. Still, the town needed a Santa, and Nick was willing. The first signs of trouble were subtle. Children came back from the grotto clutching their gifts, but looking pale and withdrawn. They described Santa's cold touch and how his gaze felt as if it were peeling back their secrets. Parents dismissed it as holiday jitters, but whispers spread among the kids. Santa wasn't who he seemed to be. One evening, the Miller twins, curious and daring, decided to sneak into the grotto after hours. They wanted to prove there was nothing to fear. The next morning, their parents found their beds empty. The only clue was a small, blood-red bell tied with a black ribbon, sitting on the windowsill. The disappearances didn't stop with the Miller twins. Over the next few days, more children vanished without a trace. Each time, the same bell appeared in the child's room, its crimson surface glinting ominously in the dim light. The festive mood in Frosthaven began to crack, replaced by a growing sense of dread. Amid the chaos, an elderly woman named Agnes came forward. She was one of Frosthaven's oldest residents, and her voice trembled as she spoke. She recounted an old legend, a warning passed down through generations. She spoke of the Yule Demon, a dark spirit that took the form of Santa Claus to prey on the unwary. According to the legend, the Yule Demon would come to towns that had forgotten the true meaning of Christmas, feeding on their greed and fear. He would lure the innocent with promises of gifts and joy, but would ultimately consume their souls. No one wanted to believe Agnes, but the pattern was undeniable. The festive cheer had turned to paranoia. Parents kept their children indoors, and the once bustling market became eerily quiet. One brave soul, a young journalist named Clara, decided to investigate. She had always been skeptical of local legends and refused to let fear take hold of her town. Clara began to dig into Nick's past, searching for any record of him. What she found left her shaken. There was no trace of Nick before his arrival in Frosthaven. No family, no background, nothing. Determined to uncover the truth, Clara visited the grotto late at night. The place was eerily silent, the decorations casting long, twisted shadows in the dim light. As she stepped closer to Santa's chair, she felt a chill run down her spine. Then she saw it, a ledger sitting on the armrest of the chair. It wasn't a list of children's wishes, but a record of names, each crossed out in a deep crimson ink. The last two names were the Miller twins. Before Clara could react, a deep, guttural laugh echoed through the grotto. She turned to see Nick standing in the doorway, his icy eyes glowing faintly in the darkness. He didn't speak, but advanced slowly, his presence suffocating. Clara fled, clutching the ledger as evidence. She shared what she found with the town and panic erupted, but Nick was gone, leaving no trace of his presence. The townsfolk tried to destroy the grotto, but every attempt was met with strange accidents, fires that wouldn't burn, tools that vanished overnight, and whispers that seemed to come from the shadows. On Christmas Eve, the town gathered in the church, desperate for safety. Snow fell heavily outside, muffling the world in an eerie silence. The bells tolled midnight, and for a moment it seemed like they might be safe. Then, the doors flew open. Standing in the snowstorm was Nick, his red suit now tattered and stained. His grin stretched unnaturally wide, revealing sharp, glinting teeth. The air grew cold as he stepped inside, the flames in the candles flickering out. The townsfolk huddled together, praying for salvation. Agnes, the only one who seemed unafraid, stepped forward. She clutched an old, weathered book, a relic she claimed held the key to banishing the Yule Demon. As Nick lunged toward her, she recited an incantation, her voice steady despite the terror in her eyes. The room filled with a blinding light, and Nick let out a bone-chilling scream. When the light faded, he was gone, leaving behind only a torn scrap of red fabric and the faint scent of burning pine. Frosthaven tried to recover, but the scars remained. The grotto was sealed, and the town decided never to celebrate Christmas again. The legend of the Yule Demon became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the darkness that could hide behind even the jolliest of masks. But on cold winter nights, when the wind howled through the empty streets, some claimed to hear the faint sound of sleigh bells and a deep, rumbling laugh. And in the darkest corners of Frosthaven, the crimson bells would sometimes reappear, tied with black ribbons, as if to remind the town that Nick was never truly gone. As you prepare for the holiday season, remember the story of Frosthaven. Not all Santas bring joy. Some bring something far darker. Be careful what you wish for, because in the shadows of Christmas cheer, something might be watching.